De gast vanavond dus, die we verwelkomen, is Raul Magni-Berton. We hebben hier een paar maanden geleden Clara Egger gehad. En Raul zegt dat ze waarschijnlijk zelfs nu ook eens zou meeluisteren, dus dat zou heel mooi zijn. Zij werken vaak samen trouwens. Raul is dus professor politieke wetenschappen aan de universiteiten van Grenoble en Genève. Correct me, Raul, if I'm wrong. Hij is politicoloog met, ja, toch zoals we geschreven hebben, ook een indrukwekkende lijst van publicaties. En hij is dus een actief pleitbezorger voor directe democratie. Zo heeft hij bijvoorbeeld met Clara Egger samen trouwens de beweging in de Dauphiné in Frankrijk, Dauphiné Démocratique, gestimuleerd als co-animator. Hij heeft ook met Clara Egger het boek Le référendum d'initiative citoyenne expliqué à tous geschreven. Hij is dus ook eigenlijk vooral specialist in vergelijkende politiek. En hij zal ons dan ook een inkijk geven in de directe democratie van verschillende Europese landen. Okay, Raul, if you please, you can start. Thank you very much for coming and for your time for us. Democratie, meer democratie, Belgium.
Okay, thank you for inviting me. And I'm so sorry I don't speak Flemish. And yes, I'd love to make a conference in Flemish, but now my word, I know only 5-6 words, and even English, I'm not very good. But anyway, I would like to just to exchange with you about direct democracy in Europe, and especially you, because I have good reason to think that the next direct democracy in Europe is Belgium. I would like to live in Belgium to put this idea. I will explain why. Yes, you are surprised, Bert.
Yeah, I'm very surprised and happy that you say that.
But the reason is simple. The first direct democracy in Europe is, I suppose you know, is Switzerland, 19th century, and Switzerland had a great influence on the direct democracy in the United States, in the west of the United States, and then on the Germany and Liechtenstein during the 20s, and Lithuania, Latvia too. And this is before the Second War. And we can observe is that only federal countries develop direct democracy in its strongest forms. And all the centralized countries have huge difficulties to implement it. So that's why I believe that in Belgium now, it's possible. I don't know, you need, of course, a lot of activists, but the conditions are there for me. For example, I would like to say that these first countries, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and United States, the first countries of direct democracy are the most radical in implementing it, because you can change constitution, not of course at national level in the United States, but at state level. And in Switzerland it's the same, and in Liechtenstein it's exactly the same. There is only a little different in Liechtenstein that is that the prince have the veto right against any referendum. But it works because the only referendum in which he have no veto rights is to rid of prince, so to abolish monarchy. So the prince never used this right? Because he tried at the beginning of 2000, and he was threatened to be abolished, so dismissed it. So he's quite calm. And in Liechtenstein, there is also another specific thing, that it is the only country in which one region can separate from the rest of the country with a referendum. So it's rare. It's never happened, but maybe it's never happened because they can. So this is the first country, and they are a bit our examples. Then in Germany and in Latvia, the referendum was broken during the war. And in Germany and after the war, there is another wave of dark democracy, but much more soft. The first country is Italy. I'm Italian in my origin. Maybe Guido too. I don't know. Is an Italian name. In Italy, in 1945, the initiative just after fascism, the initiative is implemented. Is wrote in the constitution, and then it will be implemented much later in the 70s. But it has two main defaults. The first one is that is only abrogative. This means that they can only reject a law, but not propose. And this is important, but it's not the most important. There are all two further default, much harder. The first is you cannot change constitution. You cannot decide for example, fiscal issues or international treaties. What is important, you cannot impact on. So this is quite limited. And also, the problem is that there is a quorum of 50%. People have to, they have to be 50% of voters in a referendum to be valid. And this is, Italy was the first country who implemented the quorum. And after Italy, a lot of countries in Eastern Europe and also even in Germany now implemented this quorum, despite the fact that it is really bad for democracy, because when you have a quorum, there is an incentive to people not to vote. For example, if you need 50% of voters, if you are against the question, you prefer not to vote rather than vote no. So people turnout is very low, and incentive to not to vote are quite perverse in the systems. And sorry? no one. That's clear enough, what I say? I have a strong Italian accent, maybe it's difficult to follow.
No, that's good, I think.
Okay. So, an example is that a lot, the longest series, there are 23 referendum in Italy in a row that has not validated because of the quorum. So people sometimes are quite angry because a large majority decides for something and it's not validated because of the quorum. And this is a problem for many East countries. I will exemplify it. This after Italy, some country implemented also direct democracy, as Germany, who lost direct democracy before the war with Hitler, and then implemented it after the war, but only at lander level. So this is a bit a problem because they can decide about taxation, for example. This is important, like in Italy, and they are different kind of quorums, a bit better because they have affirmative quorum. This is there is a percentage, for example, 25% of people have to say yes. In Italy, 50% have to vote whatever they say yes or not. So this is a bit better, but is a quorum and is bad anyway. So after that, in the 90s, almost any country in the former communist world opted for some direct democracy tools, but not like Switzerland. The most promising are Latvia, because it used the same formula as in the 20s, in 1920s. So it was quite important. You can change constitution, but you need a very, very high quorum, because you need that 50% of people have to say yes for a constitutional change. So 50% of voters, not only voters, but people registered voters, right? So turnout is very important. And that's why they have few referendums, but we count, sorry, I will check, seven referendums in Latvia since 1919. And the second country is Croatia. In Croatia, there is a very strange law, because the law say that you cannot change the constitution with a referendum, but except the article on the referendum. So you can change this article in constitution with a referendum, and then you could have a direct democracy like in Switzerland. So is a quite strange idea. The problem in Croatia is the time to collect the signatures. You need only 15 days. So it's very difficult. And when the time is so short, the problem is that only few people can use referendum. You need to be very popular or very rich, because you cannot trigger a referendum as quickly. So other kind of direct democracy exist in Bulgaria, in Hungary, in Lithuania, and they use it because they have a number of signatures required quite low, and there is also a quorum, quite important. For example, in Slovakia, they vote against the fact that politicians use limousines to go to work, okay? Very expensive cars. And what is strange is that people vote against that, but they didn't reach the quorum. So politicians keep their car. So this is an example of this problem. And there are also other countries in the Eastern world who implemented some direct democratic tools, but they are too difficult to be used. Example, in Russia, there is a direct democracy in the constitution, but it's never used. And so this is a bit the general context. And now in many countries, some movement try to improve their own system. So, for example, in the Netherlands, there is a proposition currently discussed in the parliament to implement a abrogative, like in Italy, system. But they introduced recently a quorum, the parliamentarians, and there is a big discussion about it because people know that it's not a good idea. And also in Italy, the government submit a new law to transform the abrogative referendum in propositive, to allow people to propose something with that. But now is blocked in the assembly because the government, the coalition, not all the members of the coalition agree with that. So it's difficult to say now what will be the next country, but we know that in a recent poll in all Europe, we have the pool, I don't remember the name, but there is no country in Europe in which direct democracy, there are less than 70% of people in favor. So it's very high everywhere. But the problem is that it's not the first, the priority for anyone except you and me, but very few people. So it's a bit difficult because everyone like it, but few people mobilize themselves for that. So it's difficult to say where it will appear. But I think that what we observe in Europe is that when your direct democracy is not good, like, for example, in Italy or in Bulgaria, it's not good enough. It is difficult to improve it. So the countries in which the direct democracy is the best, they obtain it in one shot, quickly, not step by step. So it's possible, that's why I also think that it's possible that maybe tomorrow in Belgium, direct democracy will implement as in Switzerland, and Italy or Latvia or Germany have not an advantage compared with other countries. There is also a final, after we will discuss, but there is a final interesting fact, I think, is what happened at the beginning of the century, 19th century, not this century, the last one. A lot of countries, including, for example, Sweden, had a direct democracy at local level. This yes, is widespread. The problem was that when Swedish parties promoted universal suffrage, they exchanged it with direct democracy, because universal suffrage was a risk for many people. They didn't know what could be the consequences, and therefore they renounced the democracy to implement universal suffrage. That's why direct democracy is quite disappeared, except in few countries. And now it will return on the agenda because we are not too afraid by universal suffrage anymore. Okay, I think this is my panorama, and we can maybe discuss.
So, Raul, I wonder why, so that point of view that Belgium has advantages for direct democracy. Can you explain that more? You said, for instance, that states where direct democracy has been implemented quickly have more chances or to improve, or if I misunderstood that.
There is two reasons. The first one is that federal countries implemented quickly direct democracy because they started at local level. But the local level in federal countries is very important. So people can decide a lot of things. Especially taxes is a big point, because in general, the control of taxes is also the control of welfare state and police and so on. So in federal state, direct democracy began at local level, and then it will reach the center. And in centralized state, it's very different, because to start at local level, you have to have the authorization of the center. So the center give you few things. You have not really the possibility to reinforce your autonomy with referendum.
Exact.
So I believe that in Belgium, it could start like this, for example, only in a part of the Belgium. I don't see, for example, Wallons among you. So I believe that in the north, in the Flemish Belgium, it has maybe more chance to develop. And but to develop in this part of Belgium is much more important than to developing it in for example, Bretagne in France, because you can have real power even at local level. So this is the first reason for me, and it's very simple, except for Eastern countries in Europe. Europe is divided into federal states with direct democracy, at least at local level, and centralized states in which there are no direct democracy. So it's very simple. The divide is clear. And this is the first point. The second point is that is easier countries with the system of direct democracy in a country tend to not evolve. It doesn't change over time. So if you choose a bad system, you keep it for maybe 100 years. And this is the case, for example, for all the Eastern countries, and or Italy, or also Uruguay. In Latin America, there are a lot of states who implemented direct democracy, but too soft, and then it doesn't work, but you cannot improve it. So the best system are the systems that are implemented are good at the beginning. For me, Belgium, without democracy, is a good candidate, because you can implement it, that good system just now. You have not a bad system to repair, and this is very difficult.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Interesting.
I have also a question for you. How do you
Yes.
see direct democracy now in Flemish Belgium?
Oh, yeah.
Discussion, some newspapers mention this.
Yeah. Well, my colleagues can correct me, improve me, I don't know. But it's not easy, you know. The government tends to be really too persevere in a centralized system. We have some things, but yeah, minor things, like it's possible to have what's it, Volksraadpleging, yeah, people like a plebiscite, but on a small, on a low level. So, for instance, pardon?
Hoe zeg je het in het Frans?
Consultation populaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So on the level of what is the communities? The commune. What's in English?
Yeah.
Okay.
Communalities.
Communal. And then the province, yes, but the regions, not in Wallonia, they have it, but I don't know if it's operationeel. Enfin. Okay, so
it doesn't work.
And no, and it's not compelling.
Yeah.
So
this is the problem. I didn't mention non-compelling referendums, even
of course,
of popular initiative. There are in Austria, for example, in many countries, but I don't count it because
no, neither do we. That's not part of democracy, of course.
So, but people don't ask direct democracy in Belgium.
Well,
no party mentioned the problem.
They are not used to. They have a very tough tradition of, to be commanded, really. Yeah.
Yes, because my argument are only argument institutionalist. Only institution, Belgium have good institution to develop direct democracy, but there is also culture. So yes. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That has to be developed, yes, very strongly.
I don't think the culture is ready.
Really?
People don't talk about it except minority.
Yeah.
If you ask people, but that won't work. It's better like it is. We vote for people and they decide for us. I don't understand it, in fact, but I observe it when I talk to my neighbors. I see no interest, in fact. So I don't understand it, but it's like
even at municipal level, there is no municipalities in which
it's possible they can organize it, the municipalities, but they don't do it, or it doesn't work, or there is not enough schwung on it, and not enough enthusiasm on it. I don't know.
Well, some municipalities has implied some ideas by us, but very humble, modestly.
I had a question. You told it's mostly in federal states the easiest way to go to direct democracy or referendum or things like that. But when it's implemented in a federal state, is it in all landen at the same speed, or does it?
No. No. There are. It's not at the same times, and neither at the same quality direct democracy.
So in Germany, it's not everywhere the same, or in Switzerland, it's not everywhere the same, or is it? No.
No. In both countries, the signature and the quorums or other legislation about that vary according the states. The cantons in Switzerland have a big difference compared to Germany. In Germany, all the landen have a quorum. Sometimes higher, sometimes lower, but they all have a quorum. In Switzerland, no canton have a quorum. So there are national differences, but the quorum varies. And the same for signatures. In Switzerland, the highest level is lower than the lowest in Germany. So, therefore, there are more difference between Germany and Switzerland than between cantons in Switzerland or London in Germany. And also there is a big difference that because in Switzerland the fiscality come from the cantons, and they collect taxes, and after they give a part to the central government. It's a bit, but there are also federal taxation, of course, but there is a system in which the cantons use a big part of the taxation, and therefore people vote for that. In Germany, it's not the same. Taxation is centralized, and then is allocated to different lands. So this different because when people vote with their own money, the vote is more efficient than when you vote with the money of other people from outside, right? So, for example, in Switzerland, the referendum produced less debt, public debt. This is the same in United States, but in Germany is the contrary that happens, because they have this problem. So there are a big national difference, but between, yes, it varies.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay, Christophe? My answer, okay.
Maybe a question about what is for you a good campaign to achieve direct democracy in Belgium?
A good campaign, yes, that's a good question. Maybe, but I don't know, you are maybe better than me, because a good point is having an international network, and you have it with Germans and maybe, but maybe it doesn't work enough. But it's interesting to invite the Swiss people and people from outside to explain the advantages of democracy. Because in my experience, not only in polls, but only in real life, people that are far from politicians are in favor of direct democracy, and people that are close to politicians are against. So the classic is that even when a campaign works, politicians say they are not aware, it's not a good system, and there is a lot of I don't know, criticism in media. And I believe it is also very important to make credible direct democracy, and it is credible, because if you know how it works outside, there is no doubt it works better than representative democracy. So I believe maybe it's important to give credibility to that.
Yeah. But I think.
But you are good, huh? We have not mere democracy in France, for example.
We try.
Yeah, no, we exist 25 years and we haven't achieved nothing. So
yes, I know, but this is, you know, in France, before the yellow vest, there were some groups that were in favor of direct democracy for 20 years, 25 years, and they remain very, very few, little, and unknown. And suddenly, when something arrives, it's important to be there at the good moment.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that I think also. We had a campaign, or we have the intention to restart the campaign on the municipal level. So to strengthen the democracy on the level of the communities. Is that a good idea?
Yeah. How much autonomy have the municipality in Belgium?
So they
quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in a sense, yes.
They can make the huishoudelijk reglement.
Yes, well, they have really their internal rules. They can go, rather
Yes.
far in it. Yeah.
So this is a splendid idea.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
so. But yeah.
You need the little territorial section in which there is autonomy. If you are not autonomy, it's not a good idea. But so in this case, I believe, yes, I would start in municipalities if they are.
Yes, bottom up.
Yeah. On the other side, there's now in the government declaration to strengthen direct democracy because of the hoe noemt dat die citizens assemblies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there, you know, David van Rijbroek. He's promoting worldwide the idea of the
citizens assemblies.
Citizens assemblies,
but
they haven't not the direct democracy on the idea of the referendum in the scope. Their scope is to have citizens assemblies, but not direct democracy. In fact, in the papers they made, they're against referenda.
Yeah.
They favorite participation, but not decision by the people.
And representative system, yeah.
Yes, this is a classic. I observed that in many cases, this kind of assembly or participatory democracy in general used to be against direct democracy. When people ask direct democracy, the other give participatory democracy. So for me, I agree with, for example, assembly by lot, but it's not the most important, and sometimes is a disadvantage because they are against direct democracy. But for example, I tend to use when I explain the different politicians in France. I found a little formula, I think efficient, is that direct democracy is when politicians work and people decide, while participatory democracy is when people work and politicians decide.
I think it's a trick to taking the control, to keep the control, because they are, in my opinion, afraid of the power of the people.
Yeah, that's clear. In all the cases when direct democracy is strong, like in United States or Switzerland, it is obtained with a bit of conflict. It's never given.
No.
That's right.
So,
but there are possibilities on the municipal level, but I think also on the federal level, just for that thing, because they have to change the constitution, the article.
Yeah.
Some articles in the constitution that we want to change also, and it's the same article like in France, article 33.
Yeah, I agree. But the only argument is that the most important is to change constitution, because people have to have the priority over the politicians. So politicians work, okay, but people can change the most important thing. And if you cannot change constitution, it's just a gadget. It's not a real system. But I also think that the best campaign for direct democracy is using it, because when people use it, they like.
Yes.
This is very clear.
Yeah.
So that's why a municipal level is a good start, because it can increase the number of people who want it at national, federal level.
So, Raoul, that's the reason why we have installed petitie.be, petition.be. It's a tool where people can start petitions. So for us, it's the first step. And the petition, that's well known by the people. So every week someone starts a petition on our platform. So, and we give moderation, and the aim is that people can start petitions, but also that they can think further, so that the petition is the first step to referendum, and that it gives the incentive to make work of the petition to a better petition law.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the other reason is that 20% of the people who sign petitions sign also for our newsletter. So we have, in fact, we have 65,000 people who we can send the newsletter.
Yeah, and this is a federal level.
Yeah, it's in the Netherlands, but into a few weeks we have it in the French language also.
Okay. Interesting. I think that yes, there are these different possibility, but I believe that it's better have a good citizen-initiated referendum and binding at local level than having something less good but at federal level. Because when the direct democracy doesn't work, people doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have a system.
Yeah, but what we have seen is that the levels are too high, so people don't use the possibilities of the referendum on the local level. But
yeah, the same story.
Yeah, they don't use it, but it's not. It is possible. It's possible. It's not so worthless. There are possibilities, but I think it's also not our culture to take initiative. So that's also the reason why we work with petition.
Dat be.
Ja. Adinda had nog vragen in verband met de vele vragen over Zwitserland ook. Hè?
Yeah. I have a question about France. I think you live in France for the moment, yes?
Yeah.
So we saw here in Belgium the Gilets jaunes.
Yeah.
But that finished because of Corona, I think, or that finished because they had a conversation with the president, Macron, and he wouldn't do anything more than only something about one team, I think. But my question is, what will happen now? Now it's Corona time, so they can't do much more. And but when everything is again, all right, when they can manifestate, they will retry to become something, or what are the plans for the Gilets jaunes when Corona is ended?
Yes, I believe certainly the Gilets jaunes was very tired before the Corona crisis.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, in around in July 1919,
1919, yeah.
They become to be tired because they demonstrated every Saturday, and it was okay at the beginning. It was really exciting, but months after months they were tired, and also the police was very brutal. So a lot of injuries and even sometimes only, for example, in the little municipalities, people use the how do you say that, the rond-point,
roundabouts.
Yes, exactly, and they demonstrated there, and the police was obliged, I don't know, yes, the order was to put a fine on the cars in the zone. So you go to demonstrate it, and you have a fine because you cannot stop your car in this place. So it was expensive for people. So and they also observed that nothing is changing, and they were discouraged. But in the other hand, with Gilets jaunes, there are a lot of people who organize themselves. So now, for example, there are many groups, including groups in which Clara is involved, and me and other people, and they are very coordinated. And so there is no people to demonstrate on the road. Media doesn't cover that, but the lobby of Direct Democracy is much powerful now. So we will see. It's difficult to say what will happen, but there are someone bet for elections, other for lobby on the kind of associations. I don't know what is the best strategy, but there are a lot of strategy. So I will expect something just after the sanitary crisis.
So that's the beginning of the new French Revolution.
Yes, maybe. I hope.
I hope also.
Yeah, they achieved a lot of things. For instance, Clara said in a former webinar, now French people does know what is direct democracy. Before they knew nothing about.
Yes, it was unbelievable. And even when I go to present Direct Democracy during the Gilets jaunes, at the first conference was with people, I have to explain everything. And just 3 months after, they know Direct Democracy much better than university professors.
Well,
it was really impressive, yes.
Great. Good. So yeah, that's what we are searching for, to sensibilize people.
Yeah.
I think that's the hugest task.
The first, in France, there is an event, a special event, which Direct Democracy is born as a demand, as a claim. Maybe Clara explained that to you already, no?
Was it in the Dauphiné or?
No, this
No.
unfortunately it's not our merit, but because there was all the activists for direct democracy just near to Lyon. Also, another one was for more democracy, but it was not a specialist in direct democracy. He was very famous because he was against the yes during the referendum in 2005 on the European Treaty.
Yeah.
All the media was for the yes. So some people became famous because they represent the no side. So there is this one. And one person, Daniel Vienne, his name, organized a conference in video with this person, this activist for direct democracy, the famous man for democracy in general, and one of the leader of Gilets jaunes at the same time. And this conference in 2 weeks was viewed 3 million times. It was unbelievable. And this leader of the Gilets jaunes, after this conference, started to say referendum initiated by citizens. And everywhere, and this like the coronavirus was
yes, spread.
So
his name is Daniel
Vienne. It is
Vienne.
yes, just an activist. He really doesn't know direct democracy. Just had an intuition that it's maybe the good thing to ask, and it is not. He doesn't speak about that. Just organize people and make organize meeting, and this he's very good for that. And
you need to have people who can organize. But what you're saying is very important, that when you start campaigns, that you have to keep making campaign.
Yeah.
So you have to have enough power to keep
Maintain
the campaign,
that.
maintain the campaign, and it must be very good organized. Otherwise, it's it's very, very important.
I think we agree there. Oh yes.
Yeah.
But this is the problem. Another problem of the Gilets jaunes in France was that people was not connected with other countries. So very few Swiss was present in.
But in Belgium, there were also Gilets jaunes.
Yeah, I agree. But for example, you, Maire Democratie, you have no connection, right, with a French group?
No.
No. Walloon, yes, but not in France. No.
Yes, I know you have connected with other people, but France are a bit too much isolated. So this is, for me, it's the problem, because they remain alone when you have the police against you, the media, the politicians.
Yeah, it's very good that we keep our network alive and strengthen our network.
Strengthen, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, a question I have is see your difference in the Switzerland about the corona maatregelen? That people can take decisions themselves against decisions by politicians. See you a difference in Switzerland, for example? You understand my question, Guido?
The relationship between politicians and people during the corona crisis.
Yeah. So are there referenda now in Switzerland about the corona maatregelen?
Or did it stuck?
Yeah, or say the people in the street, oh yeah, okay, it's good. It's the boss has decided, or how is it?
Yes.
I don't know. Recently, I have seen in a Switzerland newspaper that 80% of people was confident with the measure taken.
Okay.
This is quite high, but the journal asked why 20% of people don't trust.
Yeah.
And therefore, for them, it was a problem. Mm-hmm. You have to discuss with them and ask what they need, because they are against, they don't trust. And when the problem is that 20% of people don't trust the measure, and you are worried about it, I believe this situation is good. Because, no?
Yeah, you say it's 20% against the measure is verwaarloosbaar.
It's law.
It's law.
Yeah, it's law.
I think so. It's law. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So normally, I compare, for example, here in France, there are maybe 50% who are against, and people don't worry about it. They say they are ignorant. They don't know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
And in Switzerland, only 20, and this is a problem. We need to. So for me, in this type of crisis, it's very important that people trust their system.
So you say, Raul, that the level must be higher.
The level,
the level of trust must be higher in
trust, yes,
in direct democracy.
In direct democracy, the level of trust for politicians is not higher, but the level of trust for the political system is much higher.
Yeah, that's right.
It's different. So when you trust the political system, you accept the decision, and especially in this kind of crisis, I believe is the key, because we have to be coordinated. This is the most important thing.
Mag ik even in het Nederlands samenvatten, dat ik het goed begrepen heb? Dus het vertrouwen is 80% en dat is meer dan eer. Maar het zou eigenlijk hoger moeten zijn. Heb ik het goed begrepen?
Ja, en ze zijn er ook bezorgd om die 20%.
Ja.
Ze zijn, ja.
Voilà, ze vinden dat een zorgwekkend iets, ja.
In tegenstelling tot in Frankrijk, waar je zegt, waar 50% tegen is, maar ja, ze laten het maar.
Ja, dat vinden ze, dat zijn eigenlijk idioten die het niet snappen of zo.
Ja. Oké. Ja, that's a great difference. Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. But I have also heard that the Swiss are prepared for a catastrophe like this, because it's the second time that a special law trad in werking. Special law
was initiated. Yeah.
Was initiated. The first time was in the Second World War, and the second time is now by the Corona crisis. So, and in an interview, I saw that an official said so van, yeah, we have two. We make also foundations to vangen, hè?
Yeah.
Om zo'n catastrofe op te vangen.
To manage.
To be resilient
manage,
for such a catastrophe. Yeah.
Yeah.
To manage. Yeah.
So I think it's a sign of good huisvaderschap, hè?
Good
management, that they are prepared that there can be a catastrophe, and that then the government said, now for this cases we decide ourselves, and the people could say yes or no about that principle, and they have a foundations, because here with the schulden, debt are rising in catastrophical.
Yes, excessively. Yeah.
Is that correct?
I don't know. You learned me something, and I will check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in Switzerland, the corona measures are taken by the government, and are they severe, or I don't know?
There are no referendum, especially during the crisis, but it's not taken by the federal government.
Yes.
Yes, something, yes, but the most of measure are decided at the canton level.
Oh yeah, all do, yeah.
And this was a bit a success in the first wave, because Switzerland was, with Germany, the country in which there were the less deaths and also the less fatality rate, you know, when you are yes. And but now in the second wave is more difficult, so maybe direct democracy is not the solution for everything.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in that case, I think the principle was in a catastrophical case, there you have to decide immediately.
Yes, that's it.
That's it, eh? So, but there is a federal law that it is so.
Yeah. Anyway, the model of Germany and Switzerland very decentralized, because also in Germany much of measures are taken at the Länder level.
Yes.
And it was at the first sight very efficient, and I heard that some countries started to decentralize for the second wave.
Yeah, but in Belgium it's just de omgekeerde richting, hè?
Yeah.
Belgium is the contrary.
It's a contrary, because the measures were taken. No, that there are the regions and the federal level. So that it was not a real coördinatie.
Oh yeah. The coordination failed. Yes, between regions and federal level.
But this is the same as in Germany and in Switzerland. There is no coordination. That's why at the beginning people thought that without coordination, it could be a catastrophe. En fait, the result is not that. Without coordination, it works. But I heard that in Belgium, it's a bit more centralized. No?
Yeah. They had centralized it, so there was a contradiction about the centralized dynamic and the regional dynamic.
Yeah.
And so they are thinking again from, so it's better that we have centralized everything again.
Yeah.
So that's the tendency.
Are there conflicts between the regions and the federal state in Belgium?
Not especially, I think.
No? Especially during Corona, my question.
Well, eh?
No?
Yeah, there were controversies, that's right, yes. For instance, the evening balance, so yeah.
Little bit between the federation and the regions, but more between the federation and the local politicians.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
More problem.
Yeah, but that's I think that phenomenon is worldwide.
Pardon?
That's wereldwijd, hè?
Yeah, worldwide phenomenon, yeah.
Okay.
But the problem is that we citizens have to listen, and that we can't decide, or that we have no possibility to launch a petition or a referendum to say no to the politicians. These measures are not good for us. We want other measures or more responsibility for the civilians. That is not possible. So they have the only absolute power to decide what measures they launch and they give to us.
But this was not possible even in Switzerland for a while, because the problem of referendum is that when there is the coronavirus, it's difficult to vote, because you have to go in to vote, that you can risk to have coronavirus, right? So the referenda were suspended for a while, the first wave. So this is, for me, is not the direct effect of direct democracy that's good in this case, is more the effect on time, because in Switzerland, you know that you have the right, and even if you lost this right for 3 months, it's okay. It's not so. But yes, in Switzerland, it was not decided by the referendum.
Is it possible for the civilians, for the citizens in Switzerland on cantonal level, you say, to make propositions or to propose something, measures, or is it impossible?
No, the problem is that when you start a petition takes time, around 18 months, and then you have to prepare the referendum, and between the starting a petition and the referendum, you can wait 3 years. So the problem is, now we vote for referendum started 3 years ago. So it's not a good way to react to emergency, but the point, interesting point, is that politicians know that people can have more mean to punish them after the crisis. So they are much more consensual, even in crisis. This is the difference because of direct democracy. But this is a culture that is developed in direct democracy. The culture of consensus. You don't like people against what you are doing because after they can have power to change what you want, to punish you, etc. So but there is no direct impact of direct democracy on crisis. This is the point.
Okay.
Good. Raul, what do you think from the last notation there in the chat from Lucky?
Yeah.
To motivate as much people and so on.
Yes, I did. Yes, I agree. This could be a good idea, but I think you need the support from people before that, because politicians, the first reaction of politicians is not to deny the value of direct democracy, is to ignore direct democracy. If they can ignore it, they do it. So the first level is to force them to deny the value. So, but for the second step, I agree. This is a very good strategy. Bye-bye, Alinda.
Good, ja. Adinda, dank u wel.
I have to go also at 9.
At 9, yes, that's right. We had, 5 minutes only, okay. Well,
we can
nog vragen? Nog iemand vragen? Other questions? Je mag ze ook in het Nederlands stellen als je dat liever doet. Kan altijd iemand vertalen, geen probleem. No? Okay. Then the timing very well fits.
Oké, dan...
But thank you very much for this. It was very pleasant discussion.
No.
Okay.
We thank you. Raul. Thank you.
And maybe you see at our campaigns.
Yes, definitely. And we can meet meet French and Belgian activists for direct democracy together. Would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Indeed. Good.